no power. Thankfully, with no power, I still have gas. Cranking up some hot water to have a cup of coffee.
About 5 more meters and we're in. Let me watch it. Watch us cross it. And we're in Ukraine. We've got to cross it.
Thank you guys for being here on day number 329. And right now, I'm very happy because I just got power back. Today's been a very, very difficult day. In fact, I'm going to share with you a clip in just a moment with Sasha, my friend, and I, just frustrated with no power and very limited mobile connectivity. Yes, we have Starlink and we can get out, but it's just a challenge. You don't ride around or live with Starlink on all the time. So it's been quite a challenge, but thank God we just got power back about 30 minutes ago. Gerashenko out of Kyiv today made a statement, and we're going to talk about a couple of things out of Kyiv in just a moment, but I want to start by continuing to stress the stress upon the Ukrainian people with the power issues and the infrastructure and mobile communications. It's extremely difficult. In fact, Anton Gerashenko came out today. He's one of the advisors in Kyiv and said it's very difficult on the Ukrainian people right now not having significant control over their lives because lack of power, lack of communications, not able to make schedules. For example, I've had power today for 1 hour. I was scheduled where I live here to only be without power for 4 hours, but I've had it for 1, and that's due to just Ukraine struggling to keep enough power in the system, thankfully. And I'm telling you, it's a good feeling to have a light on. It's a really good feeling. Sasha and I, my buddy, we were out a little while ago because we were just so frustrated. And yes, I'm supposed to be in Kyiv, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Sasha and I were so frustrated, we just decided to jump in the car and ride around. We rode around, we found a little cafe that was open, and they were only open because they had a generator running. We grabbed a quick meal. They were running everything on generator and a limited menu. Everything's just so abnormal. And I asked him a couple of questions about the power. I think it'll be interesting for you to see that. After that, we'll come back and check on a couple of other stories and updates for tonight. Here you go. This is Sasha, just a little while ago.
Хорошо, дорогой, это 5:30 вечером, и я хочу сказать от правильной ситуации с свет нашего города Хмельницкий. Сейчас мы сидели в кафе Бро, и это кафе без света.
Но работает.
И без клиент, целый день, мой, ты и я, первый клиент. Но работает. Двое мнений. Это тяжело для бизнеса.
Очень.
Как твой бизнес?
Такси?
Да. Но как был?
Было лучше, 2 раза лучше. 50%,
Два раза лучше.
50% больше.
Но сейчас, потому что война.
Война, и без света не работают светофоры, плохо работает интернет. Много людей и сидят дома, не идут на улицу, потому что темно. И все.
Это реально.
Да, и такси меньше.
И только один путь будет перемоги.
По-любому. Только перемога, и все будет хорошо.
Потому что без перемоги
Будет русский мир без
будет
перемоги.
русский мир.
That was some great insight there from a Ukrainian businessman telling you the truth about life here in Ukraine. A couple of other things I want to draw your attention to tonight is, unfortunately, we've had another tragedy here in Ukraine, the city of Kyiv. There was a helicopter crash today, and the head or the chief of internal affairs for the entire nation of Ukraine and much of his staff, it would be him, his second in command and third in command, and basically key leaders of the team were all killed today in a helicopter crash. The helicopter actually crashed into a kindergarten school. And yes, there's an investigation going on. There are the rumors swirling that it could have been sabotage or some type of Russian intervention there. Not a missile or being shot down, but there's just some goofy things going on. They were en route to Kyiv. It seems the chopper caught fire some way, crashed into a kindergarten building. Children are killed. They're actually still looking for others. It's a pretty bad scene. And right now, Ukraine is doing a complete investigation on that, and that will even look into the Russian side and see if something happened. But unfortunately, this is a couple of days in a row of some really bad internal information for Ukraine. Remember, we were just talking about Edestovich last night resigning after talking madness about the missile strike in Dnipro, and now we have a chopper crash into a kindergarten and losing not only the government, but more importantly, losing many children and staff members in this. So a couple of really bad days on some internal things here. Now, there was a witness to that. A lady was watching. She saw it on fire, and she gave her comments about that, and got that translated, and I'll show it to you now. This is from the chopper crash in Kyiv today.
Кружился, горел и полетел в эту сторону. Но я так поняла, что он выбрал объект самый маленький, потому что там же двухэтажное здание, а здесь десятиэтажное здание. И, это садик детский. И я думаю, что там есть жертвы.
To give a little bit more insight on the chopper crash in Kyiv, President Zelensky just came out in his nightly address and made a very clear and concise statement that this was not an accident, but this was a result of the war, the exhaustion, the pressures of the war, and very clearly stated, not an accident. This was a result of the war. Now, I'm not putting other meaning into that it was sabotage or anything else, but direct statement from Zelensky tonight was this chopper crash and the loss of our people and these children and these workers at the kindergarten was a result of this war. And with that statement, you can completely agree. It's logical and easy to see. Now, World Economic Forum was meeting today. Lots of European leaders, including Schultz and Duda and Sweden, all these nations came out and said, we're going to keep supplying Ukraine. And the United States is talking about more supplies. This is the same story that happens every day. So I don't even worry about it. Until they're here, it's just talk. I can tell you right now, there are 0 patriots in Ukraine. There are other systems, and we're thankful for it. But until they're here, it's all just talk. So, many nations coming out, making their statements, pledging support. The only way is for Ukraine to have victory, and we're going to send this, and we're going to send that. Well, we'll see. I can tell you right now, in Bakhmut and in Soledar out in the east, the battles are extremely difficult. There is intelligence coming out of Great Britain tonight that says Soledar has completely been evacuated by Ukrainian soldiers, and Ukrainian soldiers are right on the edge of holding Bakhmut. Of course, Zhenya and I were just there a couple of nights ago, so we can confirm 100% Ukrainian soldiers are holding there on Bakhmut. Can't confirm anything about Soledar other than what we've heard from our friends. Ukraine is holding on, no matter what British intelligence says or other intelligence. We were just there. However, it is extremely difficult, and yes, the battle could go either way in both of those areas. Reminder, Soledar is the place of the salt mines, and Bakhmut is that place controlling the M3 highway. These are two vitally important locations. Now, last night when Jane and I were giving you the update, we were telling you that Putin today would be making a statement, and he did. We know all those guys in Europe were talking. Well, at the same time, of course, Vladimir Putin's got to speak. And not only Putin, but Lavrov also got into the action today. He was making some statements, and Putin was making some statements. So I'm going to roll those back to back to back for you right now, let you hear a little bit of what was coming out of Moscow today, while Europe and the United States were saying, we're going to keep supporting, we're going to keep sending gear, munitions, armaments. This is what was coming out of Lavrov and Putin.
То, что происходит сейчас на Украине, это результат многолетней подготовки Соединенных Штатов и их сателлитов к началу глобальной гибридной войны против Российской Федерации. Это, собственно, никто особо и не скрывает. Она когда-то, эта война, закончится, мы все равно отстоим свою правду. Но как дальше жить, я пока не представляю себе. Все будет зависеть от того, какие выводы сделает Европа.
Все, что мы делаем сегодня, в том числе и специальная военная операция, это, как я уже многократно говорил, попытка прекратить эту войну. Вот в чем смысл нашей операции. И защитить людей, наших людей, которые там на этих территориях проживают. Это наши исторические территории, как я уже говорил, после развала Советского Союза. Сейчас не буду давать оценок, здесь не место и не время, но во всяком случае Россия примирилась с этим событием, но несмотря на то, что это наши исторические территории российские, но мы примирились исторически с этим. Но тем не менее, мы не могли не отреагировать на то, что там начало происходить после переворота государственного, когда начали, по сути, истреблять людей, которые проживают на этих территориях только за то, что они считают себя связанными с русской культурой, с русским языком.
So there you have the interesting statements by both Lavrov and Putin. And you know, I was editing all this, putting it together, and Sasha was there watching it with me, and he goes, can you believe what he's saying? You just watched it yourself. The translation was perfect. He said, Russia's doing everything it can to stop the war. Well, folks, I'm here, and I can tell you 100%, that's as far from the truth. These people have lost their mind, and unfortunately, the world's still trying to figure it out. But that was the big statement from Vladimir Putin today. Nothing's changing. This is going to keep going and keep going and keep going until victory comes. There's no other answer. There's no negotiation. There's no peace talks. There's nothing that we can negotiate and we'll give you this and you give us that. No. This is the war for independence for Ukraine. Think about whatever nation you're in tonight. If you were fighting for your independence, whether you're an American or you're an Australian, or maybe you're there in Sweden, or you're watching from Germany, or wherever you're watching from tonight or today. Think about if you were defending your homeland. Of course, you wouldn't give up and you wouldn't give a square inch of it away. That's where we're at. Now, for those of you that are with us every night, you know that we were supposed to be in Kyiv tonight. Couldn't get there. Why? We had to get further repairs, not only on our black van, but also on our white van. Why? Because now tomorrow, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we will be picking up 6 tons of humanitarian aid. Think about that, 6 tons. We have a 3 o'clock appointment tomorrow in Kyiv. We're going to be taking our black van. We're going to be taking our white van, and we're hiring another van. Why? Because there's no trailers that we can rent. We have one trailer that we own. So we're going to be loaded. We're going to be collecting all types of humanitarian aid. Plus, Zhenya and I will be also making a run for medical supplies that we will then be taking back to that field hospital over there by Bakhmut. So that's what is going on. That's why we're not in Kyiv tonight, but we will be leaving in the morning, heading to Kyiv, and you'll be with us every step of the way. As always, thank you for being here. Special thanks to the moderators. You guys, I'm sleeping most of the time when you guys are watching this, and I know you're chatting and you're talking. It's awesome. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing everything to help the community and the chat and all of that go well. Thank you guys for continuing to give. Zhenya, he's out tonight. He's resting. As you could see on the video last night, pretty much zonked. But everything's good. And tomorrow we head to Kyiv. So may the Lord bless you wherever you're at. We thank you for being here with us. And I'll do my part in Zhenya's. A good night to all, and he would say to all a good night, and he'd throw you a heart. Be blessed, guys. We'll see you in 23 hours.